Metroid Other M. Yeah, I've heard many stories about this game, and after playing every single Metroid to date, including Metroid Prime, and yes, let's see how I enjoy this one. How did people hate this game? Alright, here you have a match with Flygon, a great YouTube battler that asked me to battle a long time ago. But the thing is, we kept on trying to get a match together, but since he lives in the Netherlands, it was kind of hard to actually assign one. Well, anyway, then he leads off with his bubbles, and I'm like, wait, did we ask for UU match? I forget. He's like, no, we did OU. I just like using UUs and OU. So I'm like, alright, cool. So I lead off with Inner Green, of course, and I lead seed him, and I'm predicting to switch, so I'm just going to go ahead and lead seed again, whatever he switches into, hoping he stays, hopefully he doesn't stay in, and he doesn't. So he switches into RoboCap, I'm like, alright, yes, perfect. So I'm going to go for the obvious protect here. I'm not sure if he watches my battles whatever, or not. So I get the HP down, and I'm happy about that. So then he sends in bubbles again. So then I send out Captain Crunch, which I was actually expecting him to go with the HP Fire to stay in, but he actually switched into bubbles, so I'm like, alright, I'm going to switch back in Winter Green. No big deal. He goes for Waterfall, and I thought for sure this thing was banded. I'm like, okay. I mean, pretty much every Azuma roll is pretty much banded, right? So I'm just going to stay in. He goes for Superpower. I'm like, what? You're not banded? I don't even know what item this thing has. I mean, maybe Focus Sash? Anyway, I survive with 11 HP, which is awesome. I go for a Blizzard, which doesn't do much to it, obviously, because I was expecting a switch, because I thought he was banded. So I go for Protect here to, you know, try and get some HP back. I know it's attack lowered, so I'm hoping he goes for Waterfall, and he does. I'm like, haha, yes. And I survive with 1 HP. Yes, I never, ever regret putting full HP in defense on this guy. Ever. So I'm going to go ahead and Protect again for the obvious Protect. If he switches, no big deal. At 74 HP, there's not really much I'm really worried about. So, yeah. I get the lead seed back plus leftovers, take down to like, what was it, 145, 147. Okay, I'm going to go for a second Protect here, and I laughed when I got it off. It didn't matter if I got it off or not, because he went for Waterfall anyway, putting that switch to Hippo. But, yeah, then he switches in Robocop again, and he goes for Flash Cannon. I'm like, ha 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 ha, perfect. Yes. What he doesn't know is that I actually brought my own BattleBot this time, or my own Magnezone. And then he's like, oh, come on, that's just mean. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I know, because this thing is scarfed, and you know what? I have HP Fire, so you're going down. That's right, you're dying. Because, you know, BattleBots are better than Robocop. Anyway, Hail hits me, of course, and then he sends in ANTM, America's Next Top Model, and I go kaboom! I actually didn't expect to go first at all. I'm like, what? Yeah, apparently, I was expecting to go for a Dynamic Punch since they have a Chapel Berry. I was going to survive that and go for an explosion. Hopefully I wasn't getting confused. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. He sends in a Blissey named Stupid Crab, which pretty much explains Blissey right to a T. Or should I say, right to a C. Anyway, I send in Captain Crunch. And let's just speed this up, because he went for a Wish, so I thought he would switch right into his Machamp, like, instantly. I'm like, alright, fine. So I keep on trying to Earthquake it, and then eventually I'm just like, you know, I'm leaving this guy in here. Toxic Hippo is pretty much a dead Hippo. I'm just going to try to Ice Fang his Uxie here. Hope for a freeze, and at least whittle it down some damage even if it doesn't freeze, so I could send to my next Pokemon and finish it off. What's my next Pokemon? Well, I think you guys pretty much all know. I'm going to send in Lucian! I'm like, please, 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 please don't switch into Blissey. Please don't switch into Blissey, and he doesn't. So like, oh, yes, thank you. Because if he switches into Blissey, I pretty much die from recoil instantly and not even kill off the Blissey. So then Uxie is going to, you know, die again from another hit smash. Assuming I don't miss, and I don't, so I'm like, alright, that's cool. That's cool. Yoshi's doing pretty awesome. So, Sandstorm's in effect, and now he sends in Chainsaw and kills me off with Earthquake. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. I refuse to be swept a second time by a Sceptile. No, no, no. I'm not having that. No thanks. I'm going to send in Patches here, go for a T-Wave, and he actually switches into his Machamp. Like, why is he switching into that? He's like, well, I thought you were going to use Trick. He thought I was Scarfed, but of course, I'm not Scarfed, but he doesn't know that. Well, he does now, obviously. He goes for Bullet Punch, but I'm trained full in defense and HP, so that's not going to do anything. Wouldn't do too much even if I wasn't. Anyway, yeah, I get buffeted by the Sandstorm, and I Roost, and then he sends in his Blissey again. I'm like, alright, I'm going to play risky here. I'm going to send in my Inferno, which I was afraid this thing had T-Wave, which is why I didn't want to send out Infernape for so long. I was afraid this thing had Thunder Wave. So then I'm like, I don't want to use T-Wave. Please don't have it. But it uses Protect. I'm like, perfect. And apparently it doesn't have T-Wave either. So I was afraid this whole time for nothing. But it's good, because I knew if he switched into Sceptile, he would die from close combat, and if he left his Blissey in, he'd die from close combat. So I pretty much have this game won at this point, I think. So I get a crit. I highly doubt that mattered. I'm adamant and taking full attack. Didn't matter too much. And then he sends in Chainsaw. I go for a Mach Punch to do the guaranteed damage. It's going to kill me off with Earthquake, but that's no big deal. My Patches could go ahead and use Flamethrower and finish off. I won't use Air Slash because I don't want to miss. And he gets hit by the Sandstorm, so I'm like, alright. And I think I don't think he's in Overgrow yet. So I go for Flamethrower. He misses the Leaf Storm, but that's going to be good game.